everybody. Thanks,
Hi.
Friday.
It's the start of the weekend.
It is. It is, my friend. Welcome to Ritchie from Longman Tarot.
Thank you. I'm so excited. So excited. It's been ages.
It has been ages. It was a while back when we were
I can't even remember when we were with Gerald. Months ago.
Yep. And then I sent you a lovely invite, and then I had to change the date. But it was like 3 months ago, probably.
I think so, yeah. Back in the summer. But we're here now. That's the important thing.
That's right. We are here now, and that is the important thing. So hello to everyone who's popping in. Thank you very much for being here. This is Thank Spirit. It's Friday. Yay!
Yay!
And this is my new friend, Ritchie from Longman Tarot.
I like the way you said that. Say it again. Longman Tarot.
Longman Tarot.
I love it.
I have a funny story about Ritchie from Longman Tarot. So I had seen Ritchie on with Allie from Heart and Soul Connected, who is my partner in Circle of Friends. And I was watching in the chat, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he's my cousin. No. Now, people may wonder how is it that I thought that you could be related to me and I don't know you. And that is because we have recently found that we have a whole family over there in England. And one of my cousin's names is Ritchie Long. And so I was like, oh, he's lovely. I hope he's my cousin. And then you told me that, no, that wasn't it.
Probably our DNA goes back enough centuries that we're probably related somewhere, Kelly. Let's say that, shall we? But yes.
We're long lost cousins.
Yeah.
No. I know. I'm a hot mess. What can I tell you? So, Ritchie, every first-time guest that comes to Dozen Cats, we ask a couple of questions too, so that we all can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
Brace yourself, buckle in, put your helmet on.
Hang on now. That's made me nervous. No, it's fine.
No.
My life's an open book.
Well, all right. So the first question we have for you is 3 things that you always must have on your person.
I have to have a crystal in my pocket or around me, particularly when I'm at work. And it's usually howlite to keep me calm, to keep me sane, to keep me balanced. My keys, I always have to have a set of keys. Even if I'm going out with my husband, Peter, who's got the keys, I still have to take the keys with me. I've just got a real phobia about being locked out of the house.
Wow.
Something else I need to have with me. I always wear 2 rings on my finger. So I've always got these on. So one's my wedding ring to Peter, and another one, which I have no idea where it came from. When I was a gothic 20-year-old being, when I had Mohican hair and was like, looking like something from the Smiths, I bought this and I never take it off for some reason.
I love that. Great answers, by the way.
Thank you.
If you could time travel to any year, what year do you think it would be?
Oh, Lord.
These aren't supposed to be.
I would love to go to, I don't know if it's that year, but a period. I'd like to go to Roman times, when Rome,
really?
Back in time of the Caesars.
You want like a chariot? You want to ride in a
No,
chariot?
I just kind of like to see what it was like, and not somewhere dangerous like Italy where there's volcanoes. Perhaps England, somewhere like that, where they kind of did it quite leisurely.
I love that.
But somehow I just like to see what it was like and what the people were like, what the food was like, how it smelled, that kind of thing.
Would be, whenever I think about that question, I think to myself, I don't know that I'd want to stay. I just want to visit for kind of like in Bewitched, how she would hover. I just want to hover around. I just want to see what's going on. I don't really want to be a part of the thing.
I think you'd be it would be really difficult for me because I'd want to talk and give away lots of secrets about what the future holds, and therefore probably be burnt as a witch or something like that, or as a
Most
weirdo.
likely. All right. What would you say suits you best? I'm going to give you some options here.
Okay.
Would you say that you're a city person, a country person, a seaside or ocean person, a mountain person, or off the grid?
Oh, Lord. Well, that's difficult because where I live, I have countryside and I have seaside. And I love them both equally. But I'm going to say seaside for the very good reason I've always lived by the sea. I mean, I'm literally a mile away, a couple of kilometers away, that direction. And I don't visit the sea all the time.
Right.
I love it in the summer. I love it in the winter. I love it when it's big waves but when you've grown up by the sea, there's this really strange sensation of, I know that if I go a mile that way, there's nothing. I mean, there's Europe if you keep going.
Right.
There's nothing. The moment I start to go inland for a long period of time, I get a bit tetchy. I get a bit like, ooh, it's a bit like I've lost my open spaceness to it.
Right.
So that's why I would say oceans. And to be honest, I would love to live on a desert island for a year. I would love that. Just my own company for a year.
That's really interesting. Well, I'm glad then that I have the backdrop of the water, so you feel at home.
I feel very comfortable there.
You're just lovely and floating on the water. I love it. Okay. Favorite tradition that you celebrate or that you had growing up as a child?
Oh, favorite tradition. See, even
if it's breakfast in bed on a Sunday.
No, I can't bear breakfast in bed. I hate eating in bed. I really, in fact, once I'm awake, I'm awake. I can't hang around in bed. I have to get up doing
I'm
stuff.
the same way. I can't stand it. I got to get up.
And the idea of eating in bed makes me feel actually quite uncomfortable. Especially crumbs in the bed. No. Tradition. I suppose what I like best, it's not really a tradition, but my favorite time is Christmas Eve. I like that idea of once sort of 3 or 4 o'clock happened and the shops have closed for Christmas and you know there's nothing you can do. That was always a really nice time in my family, like, because the hecticness just kind of paused. My dad had when I was growing up, owned a toy shop, which was fantastic. I know, you'd think it's amazing.
Lovely.
The poor man was obviously Christmas, particularly Christmas Eve.
Right.
He was exhausted and was running around like a headless chicken. So for him coming home at 4, 5 o'clock on a Christmas Eve, I knew that's when Christmas officially started, and you could almost feel the whole family settling in for Christmas. And so that's why it's still my favorite time. And I like Christmas Eve late afternoon, and that's the bit I cherish, and I will have a glass of wine and just relax into Christmas that way.
I love that. That's such a great answer. What an amazing story that would be to tell. Obviously, if you felt comfortable sharing that whole story with your dad, I mean, it would be super interesting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's 3 questions, right?
I think so. I lost count.
All right. So the 4th question is a fictional, so like a TV sitcom or family that you wish that you would be a part of, or that you could be a part of. Please say EastEnders, please. No,
I don't watch soap operas. I really don't. I tell you what I do watch, this is my new thing I've discovered, and I don't know if I so much want to be part of the family, but I've discovered the new version of Dynasty on Netflix. It got me through my COVID illness. That's all I guess that I got addicted. I don't want to be a member of the Carringtons because they're ridiculous. But I just love the drama and the
Right.
outfits and the weirdness and the ridiculousness of it. Someone I'd like to be part. Can I be? I'd like to be like one of the people in the TARDIS with the Doctor.
Yeah.
Does
You
that
can be
count?
anything you want.
I think I might like to be that just for a short period of time, and then come back home to Earth and just get on with life. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I think it would be cool. All right, our last question. Where's your happy place? I think you've kind of already told us where your happy place is, but
my happy place, I have lots of little happy places. I think being outside, in all weathers, actually, it doesn't have to be sunny. I've realised that in my head it's always summer, but I've really loved autumn this year, and I really like autumn weather. I even beginning to like the rain quite a bit, which is quite good for someone in the UK because you'd think I'd be used to it by now. But being out in the countryside or being somewhere like Glastonbury or an old city, I'm going to off to York next week, which is up north, which is a medieval. In fact, it's even older than that. It's a Viking town that grew up and became medieval. And I like the history of those places. So anywhere like that where I can be a bit of a tourist.
It's a great answer. It's a great answer. Well, thank you for answering the questions. I do appreciate it. I want to, again, say thank you for being here. You are welcome back anytime, and we haven't even started yet. So there you go.
I'm loving being here. I feel very relaxed.
Good. Oddly. No. What's in your cup, Ritchie? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I want to say hello to everyone who's popped in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Seascape is in the house. Says he is a cutie.
Thank you.
Emerald Buddha is in the house. Manasa is in the house.
Hello, my lovely.
Ron Unconditional Love is here.
Hi, Ron.
Flowing is here. Mika is here. Angla is here.
Hi.
Wandering Mountain. Bardic.
Jamie.
Jamie. Hi, Jamie. You know, I have to say that when I go to like Gerald's channel or like your channel or Ben's channel and I see all these names and then you guys call them by their actual names, I get a little bit confused as to who's who. So
I do. Don't worry.
It's a lot of names.
It's a lot of names.
Here. Hi, Rain.
Hi there.
And the Whispering Well is here. Hello, the Whispering Well.
Hello, my lovely Sandra.
Oh, that's Sandra. Oh, okay. Hi, Sandra. Yeah. I know Sandra. Well, I mean, I don't know her, but I've watched her. So hi. And Donna is in the house. Thanks to everyone for hanging out with us. So today, what I thought we would do, because, Think Spirit is different every time we're here. Oh, and Tana is here. And
yeah, Tana.
Gerald is here.
Hello, Gerald. Hello, my friend.
Amanda is here. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. This is lovely. So what I thought we would do today, because, of course, my friend Ritchie is in the UK, in case you didn't get that. And so what I thought we could do is we could do some readings on influential British people.
Oh.
No matter what walk of life. So, the royal family, a politician.
Oh, perhaps don't. No, that's fine. I don't know if you've seen what's happening in the politics.
Yes.
No, absolutely very interesting to do that.
It would. I'm kind of hoping someone asked. I'm just saying. A British musical group like the Beatles or One Direction, because I'm a fan. I'm sorry, I've said it out loud. Harry Styles is thebomb.com. I'm just putting it out there. That's it. That's
absolutely
all.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
He's come out as well. I just love how he's come from One Direction to become this wonderful character.
I love that he does him really well. You know what I mean? He doesn't really care what people think, the kind of clothes that he wears or like what he says or what he does. You know what? When someone can just stand in their own truth and their own power, I have a lot of respect for that, because he's a young man. When he left One Direction, he was very I would assume that he had a lot of people telling him, what to do, what to wear, where to look, how to do things.
Running.
And he sort of broke that mold and went, no, I'm doing me. And I really respect that.
Yes, me too.
So, Amanda, that's a great one to start with. So feel free to pop something in the chat, and we will do our best to read on it. And hi, Hypnocity, good to see you, my friend. Now, what do you think, Ritchie? Should we just what is their impact? Is that a good question to ask for?
What's their legacy?
Yes.
Impact.
All right, let's do it. So David Bowie. David Bowie. What is David Bowie's impact? Hi, M. Steve.
Hi. Queen, Queen, Queen. New Freddie Mercury song. I know that's really good.
Oh, Seascape's got George Michael. Good, I love it. George Michael. Here's a little trivia for you guys. Did you know, as the story goes, that James Corden, who now hosts, or I guess he's not hosting anymore, but anyways, was hosting the Late Late Show on TV, and is very well known for doing the carpool karaoke. And the first carpool karaoke actually was starring George Michael back in the UK on some other show he did there.
Really?
Yep. I just happen to know that. I don't know how.
Are we just putting one card?
However many you feel.
Okay.
That's interesting. Rain says that she just read that Daniel Radcliffe is going to play Weird Al in a biopic. That's interesting. I met Weird Al Yankovic, just saying.
Daniel Radcliffe's really come on, actually. He's another one that it could have gone two ways, I think, after Harry Potter, but he's done some really interesting films and had some really good roles, and he's done it all okay.
You know, when the card pops out and you just know that you've got the whole reading in one card. I love it.
Okay.
Do you want me to go?
You go first.
All right. So I pulled my tarot. I decided I wanted another card, so I'm just shuffling that. But the first card that I got is the World card. And that's why I said what I said. You know, when you pull one card and you're like, okay, that's it. So, you know, the World. He reached the world. He finished that cycle. He created this, long-lasting sort of, I want to say like catalog of material, right? That people will use for generations to come. That is his achievement. That was what he was supposed to do. And what's interesting is on the bottom of the deck, I've got the King of Cups. It all came from him, from his heart. It came from a good place. I think that he loves the idea that his music is loved, right?
Yeah.
And then I pulled this extra oracle card, and this is individuality.
Oh, there it is, isn't it?
Right. And this is him, as we were just sort of saying about Harry Styles, right? He is that guy that sort of broke out and went, I don't really care. I'm doing this my way.
Yeah.
Like it or don't.
Yeah.
And I say, go David Bowie. I love that.
Absolutely. Well, I've got something very similar to that. I've got the Strength card that came out of that one. I think it's that whole thing, as you say, of just doing what he wanted to do, present what he wanted to, and actually do what he did. Films, he did this music, he did acting, he did fashion, he did it all. He did it, and he had the strength, and he was always true to himself, because after he passed, all the little stories that came out about him, no one ever turned around and made bad things out of it. They never went, oh, you'll never guess David did this. You know, it was all part of his, there was no surprises in there. And I think we can honestly say he lived life to the absolute maximum, whether he enjoyed it all. I'm sure there were moments of difficulties in there, but his strength was from inner. It was his inner strength and his desire to do what he wanted to do that drove him on to be the star that, you know, they're even making tarot decks about him, let's be honest.
I mean, you know, you have arrived, friends, when they make a tarot deck about you, right?
Yeah. I also pulled another one. I got the Seven of Pentacles, which is interesting. This is the Edgar Allan Poe deck, and I really like this deck, so I thought it was really good for the season. And then I actually realized I know very little Edgar Allan Poe stories, apart from The Raven and The Pit and the Pendulum. But I like this one because it's, I'm not quite sure what the story is for that one. But look, we have a kind of storytelling. It's almost a Sherazade 1001 Arabian Nights, whatever it is. But I like the fact that there's a lot of costume in this. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of storytelling. And again, that's what David was about, wasn't it? It was about 100%. The performance and the costumes. And, you know, you can take, if you just say his name, you automatically, I can think of 20 different outfits, 20 different personas easily. Just pull them out because he's that iconic.
Absolutely. You know, when you put that card up, the first thing that I thought of was his, you know, because a lot of stars, a lot of famous people get to a point where they've got this mountain of, you know, abundance, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And they're not satisfied. Where they have to sort of step back and look at the picture and go, okay, what else can I do? You know, where else can I get some, you know, like a little injection, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I don't know.
Probably why you had all those different personas, which I love.
Yeah.
So everyone is choosing all of their favorite Bowie songs in the chat, and I love that. And thank you, Vivian. Yes, I've got 495 subscribers.
Oh, 5 more to go.
Yeah, 5 more to go.
We can do this. We can do this, everyone.
Yeah, 5 more before I get to the 500. And it's lovely because my year anniversary for the channel is coming up on November the 7th, and so it just feels like everything's coming together. So I thank everyone for their support. Yippee! Yeah. All right, we have who else had a question? Well, not really a question, but let's go with Seascape, because Seascape said George Michael, and then I believe Amanda made a comment and said something about when she makes a prayer to Archangel Michael, that somehow George Michael is in there too. I don't remember exactly what she said. I'm going back in the comments here, which I just thought was so lovely. No, my chat's not moving. All right, here we go. I'm close. When I ask Archangel Michael for assistance, I always seem to ask George Michael to laugh out loud.
Oh, that's cool.
I love it. Why not?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Vivian. Oh, thanks, Rain. You guys are so sweet. When I
do need to get that cough looked at. Gerald, he's right.
Gerald. No health-related questions, please.
No, it's because I happen to have a cough that sounded a bit like Madonna when I coughed when you were talking about people doing things and keep doing things. I am a big Madonna fan, I have to say, so I don't mean
I love Madonna.
I love Madonna, but sometimes you wish.
Yeah. Seascape said, I used to turn on my radio each morning. George Michael's song came on, especially the song Faith. You know, I love the way that when we do these kinds of readings, that like the messages that come out, you just feel like you're really like talking to them. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
I love it. What you got, my friend?
Okay, so I pulled from the Dark Wood, but I've gone seasonal on Halloweeny. I pulled Two of Pentacles. Bit of a scary tree there. And I've got the Moon. And for me, this really sums up, again, a lot about almost the opposite of what we were just talking about with David Bowie. It's that balancing with George that was the look. I'm this heterosexual man, and then all of a sudden, shocking revelations and things all happened. And all these secrets, the Moon card, all these secrets poured out. But he owned it. And that is what I respect and think about with George, is that he could have just withdrawn. Yes, of course, again, that could have triggered an awful lot of things going on mentally. But that video set in the toilet, brilliant. I mean, that is how you show the world what you're made of. And so we've got the Two of Pentacles, balancing, I suppose, one side of your life with the other, constantly trying to keep the balance going, trying to keep one thing in motion and the seesaw rocking that way. The secrecy of the Moon and the dark side of it, or perhaps you may want to call it that. But for me, the legacy of George Michael, apart from fantastic songs, apart from being drop dead gorgeous,
right,
is he owned his, I'm not going to say misdemeanors, but when things blew up in his face, he owned it and created stuff from it.
Yeah. That's super interesting. I pulled 2 cards, and then I just went to the deck and pulled out another one. I start out with the Two of Wands.
Oh.
You know, this is I feel like I'm tapping into the very beginning of his musical career, putting things in motion, making plans, getting to work, the big dream, how it was all going to unfold. Like, I think he tried to be very sort of strategic about it, and the choices that he was making, right?
Yeah.
And then I've got the Fool card, you know.
Yeah.
Literally standing on the cliff going, okay, Wham is done. I'm now George Michael.
Yeah. Yeah.
And going out on a limb, being brave, but also being slightly naive about, you know, how it was going to be done, how it was going to be received by the people, how it was going to be received by the world. I think that he struggled with some of those choices in the beginning. In terms of, I'm sure any artist or actor really has to make those difficult choices, right? When they take something on that other people might not think would be a good fit, shall we say, right?
Yeah.
I feel that with this card, this sums up him really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was like a target for a lot of hate back in the day. A lot of people had a whole lot to say about him and his life and his choices, and you know, really, what did any of that matter to the world in general? Because if we liked his music, that's really all that we were supposed to have an opinion about. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
I think
that's a lovely image, that one on that 4 as well. It's a real sense of, from what I know, going home and being in his family unit was a very important, safe environment for him. So that nest idea.
Yeah. I got Archangel Haniel. I never say these names right, so I apologize in advance. But this is joy, blessings, and intuition. So that's lovely. You know, it brought him joy. It provided him with many blessings, you know, obviously material possessions, but I think relationships with individuals and the connections that he made, being able to express himself creatively and create a life that he probably could only dream of years prior. And then the intuition, he had to use his gut instinct and that inner wisdom that we all have but forget to tap into quite often, you know, to guide him as to what was the right thing to do, what, you know, when was not the right time to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's lovely. What I mean, really, when there's if you can leave an impact on people, what a wonderful impact to leave. Just stand in your truth and do what you think is best at the time that you think it's best. I mean, you know, and be happy about it. I mean,
you're absolutely right.
Well, that's it, and the show is over. Thank you very much. No, I'm kidding.
That's it. Good night. No, we've got many more to do.
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. Vivian is here. Lisa Rhodes is here. Teresa's in the house. I see Saloni. I see that you've put your question in. We will get to you, love. I do have you starred. What we're doing is talking about British influencers, whether they be, you know, someone who was in literature, someone that was in film, someone that was in politics, God forbid, or any of those other kinds of things. Thank you, Anna. If someone can, I think Vivian already did this, but if someone could please kindly put Ritchie's link into the chat. If you're not already subscribed to Ritchie, please do go check out my new friend. He's not my new friend. He's my friend. I've decided. You have nothing to say about it. You're my friend, like it or not. His link is in the description box below.
Thank you. Video. Everyone's welcome.
Vivian's asking Gerald, do you know a song with tiny hands in the lyrics? Put your tiny hand in mine. I don't know that that's the name of the song. Oh, thanks,
I'm trying to think. I can't think of any. I'm sure there must be. There's a thread there, isn't there?
She's saying that's beautiful. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over top of you.
It's fine.
I do it all the time. Gerald tells me all the time. Stop it. Oh, Anna's just subbed to you. Very nice. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Do you know, I have someone that I would like to read on. Maybe after we do Steve. I want to read on Jane Austen.
Yes.
Friends, I wish someone would ask me that question. Why don't you ask me the question since you're my new guest? Ask me the question, what is Kelly's perfect day off? Describe that.
What is Kelly's perfect day off?
It's so funny that you should ask that, Ritchie, because my perfect day off is being in my flannel PJs or my tracksuit on the chair with the stool in front of me, all the kids playing all around me, my blanket on my lap, snacking while I'm watching Jane Austen for the billionth time, where I literally know it word for word for word. But
okay.
Be silent. Don't anyone interrupt my movie, because I will be like, even though I know it word for word. Like, I literally could tell you what the next line is going to be. It just makes me happy.
What's your favorite Jane Austen adaptation?
Persuasion is my favorite story. The film with
I can't remember her name.
The young lady that she's really short, and then the guy was really, really tall. He had blonde hair.
Yeah.
She had dark hair. It was so good. That specific film was so good. That woman is an incredible actress. Incredible actress. I love that movie.
Mm.
Don't know why.
Oh, that's nice though.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a little out there, but I love
have to be honest. I've never read any Jane Austen, but please don't hate me. Please don't.
Don't confirm. No.
Please don't hate me. I've tried to do that. I've tried to do the Brontes. It's not my thing. I enjoy watching the TV. I enjoy watching. What was the one with Colin Firth when he got all wet and came out?
Pride,
Pride
Sense and
Prejudice, wasn't
it? Yes, Sense and Pride and Prejudice. You're right.
Pride and Prejudice. Yes, yes. I rewatched that a few times.
Yeah. I actually Pride and Prejudice is probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I think it's predictable. The thing
I've
about
got a nice.
thing about Sense and Sensibility, that story wasn't predictable. In my opinion, it wasn't predictable. Right.
I've got a nice story for you. This will make you happy. I hope it will make you happy.
Okay.
Jane Austen is buried in Winchester Cathedral, and you can go and visit her grave, and people still lay flowers there. And I don't know, obviously she was a big writer at the time, so that she was buried in there. And then a few, I don't know when, back in 19 something or other, they decided to put heating into the church, into the cathedral, and they lost her grave. They couldn't find her grave, and when they put the heating in, they put the radiator pipes in, and she was discovered right by the radiator pipes. So at least Jane Austen, when she's at peace, is nice and warm because she's got a nice hot pipe next to her keeping her warm. Okay.
All right. That is an interesting story, and I thank you for sharing it. What I think is interesting about that is I would like to think that that's her sort of, generating heat for the masses, because that's what she did. Her stories were about embracing each other, right? Embracing the people that you are connected to, brother, sister, mother, father, whatever it may be. And I'd like to think that that's her from the other side, sort of pushing that heat out to help us, stay connected and stay warm and stay together. I love it.
I love it.
He's creating romance even from there.
Even now, in the heat. Yeah.
Jane Austen's bringing it. All right, so Steve, hi everybody. Oh, that's a good one, Lisa Rhodes. I got you, love. Carol Stab.
So we're doing Queen. We're doing Freddie, aren't we now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to change decks because this is more of a Freddie deck.
Oh, Allie from Heart and Soul. She loves Freddie Mercury. That's her fave. Mm-hmm. She's all about it. Queen, your favorite song on the shelf. The last thing for your space allowed.
Something weird just happened.
Sorry. What might that be?
I got exactly the same cards for Freddie Mercury as I did for David Bowie.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going for not a redraw, but I'm just getting some.
Just rewind the video, folks, back a little bit. No.
No, I've pulled some more, but ironically, there's another card that's come out. But we're going to keep this one. I'll explain that one in a moment.
This is an interesting. These are interesting cards I got for him. Oh boy. Do you want to go or do you want me to, love?
I don't mind. I can go.
Okay.
Okay, so I did get, what was it, the strength and the Seven of Pentacles. So I've kept them to one side, and I wanted a bit more clarity on it. I mean, that's just weird. I have shuffled the deck several times. I'm just
Right.
putting it back on again. Then I got the Emperor, which is so fitting, because the Emperor here is somebody who is absolutely at the head of it, leading it, the front man, the strength of the band. You know, he's as I said, the front man. Think of the Emperor, he's got a crown on, and we think of Freddie Mercury having a crown on and stuff like that. But underneath, you've got you've got this shell, this armor, this strength, and underneath, you've got this softer side. And of course, Freddie was always a showman. My dad absolutely loved Freddie Mercury. Now, no disrespect to my father, but Freddie's lifestyle was certainly something that my father would not have tolerated or thought. And if he knew too much about it, probably. But for him, Freddie was the showman and would play his music, and it was, yeah, he was the star. So it's all about that person, about him being that in the limelight, being that incredible person. With it, I've also pulled the Queen of Swords, which makes a really interesting connection, because there is a really strong connection between that, but there is a much more softer energy. Now, the Queen of Swords, again, is somebody that, in my terms, doesn't take prisoners. They're the kind of person that will give it to you straight. And from what I've seen and what I've read about Freddie Mercury, he didn't suffer fools gladly. If something wasn't his cup of tea or something, he would let you know, or block you, or do whatever it was. So there's this real sense of somebody who is at the top of their game, Mr. Showman, but behind it is somebody who is very in tune with what they want and their direction. And they will move things out the way to get to it. And I think that's a really important lesson. In fact, you know, we're talking about being true to ourselves. And quite often as a channel maker, you know, making stuff, you know, I ask myself, how true am I to myself? Because I'm here to talk to people, and I try and be as honest as I can. But there are sometimes I have to sit on the fence of things, you know, and that's an important aspect there. So perhaps I need to channel my Freddie Mercury, and perhaps I just need to get my outfit sorted, because this is a really boring outfit when I'm talking about Freddie Mercury. I should go and put something lovely on for him.
Right? Well, we think you're lovely. So
thank you very much. I am.
This is really interesting to me, what I pulled here. It's interesting to me when I do these types of readings, because I always seem to pick up on like the beginning part, you know what I mean, of their life. I don't ever seem to pick up on the overall, even though that's what I'm trying to do. I start out with the Page of Cups.
Interesting.
I think that this was his creative template, right? The ideas aplenty in his mind, right? All of the things that he wanted to do, could have done, should have done, all of that. I mean, I don't know what it's like to have that kind of expectation on me to be, you know, like, give me an idea, like give me a song, you know what I mean? I don't know what that would feel like, but I imagine that would get old really fast.
Yeah.
No different than like a writer, for example, and having some, you know, like the publisher saying like, you know, do you have the book done yet? It's like, it'll be done when it's done.
Yeah. I
can only imagine though that there must have been pressure, or there is pressure on any musical person or group or whatever to, you know, because they have contracts, right, that they have to. So I feel like this is pressure on his creativity, him putting pressure on himself, other people putting pressure on him, all of those ideas swimming around your head and not really sure like which one is the one.
Yeah.
Is, you know, you hear them in interviews and some of them say like the song that they wrote the fastest, you know, at 3 a.m. after drinking or something like that, that's the hit, and they had no idea. And the song that they brought in everyone and collaborated and, you know, hired the big studio is the one that doesn't The one that they thought was going to be the hit isn't the one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a long explanation about the Three of Cups, just as an FYI. Sorry, friend. Or about the Page Cups. Next, we have the Death and the Rebirth card. I think that Freddie Mercury had to reinvent himself many times. That's what I think this represents for him. I think he had to reinvent himself many times. And the reason why I say that is, you know, I think he was a little ahead of his time. And I don't think that people quite knew how to receive him. But just like you were saying about your father, which that's why I thought that card was so interesting, right? People seen it and they liked it. But if they knew, they would be like, no.
Yeah.
Right? Didn't really fit with the time, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So I think he had to reinvent himself and be very careful. And then I have the Strength card, and that is Freddie Mercury to me. Right? That's him. Card on the bottom of the deck is the Eight of Cups.
It's not. That's yeah. I wonder how that reflects him. I often think, as you've been saying about this, the way his music changed when he knew he was ill.
Yeah.
And how he addressed that. And again, he addressed it publicly.
Look at what I got. I think that I answered that I've got surrendering to the journey and release control.
Yeah.
That's what that Eight of Cups is about. At that point, like you were just saying, he had to just say, okay.
Yeah. But I'm going to make the music that reflects this. He didn't. I'm still going to make music. Yeah. I'm still going to do this as best I can for as long as I can. And I'm going to tell my story and how I feel. And you may not understand this till after I've gone.
Yeah. I think that's where the Emperor comes in, my friend. That was and his strength. That's his Emperor moment. Is the end. I think that's his Emperor moment.
Yeah,
that's lovely. I got chills. Woo! Good question.
And I have to say as well, I seem to just think for me, when Freddie Mercury, it was about AIDS and everything, because it was at the time when in the news gay men were being, really hounded about AIDS and everything like that. For him to come out and start talking about it, and it gave an inner strength to everybody that was suffering with the illness, and again made us all reflect on and made us rethink on what we already know.
I love that. Well said, by the way. M. Steve says Freddie pushed himself until the day that he died. His last recording had to be finished by Brian. That's
right. Yeah.
Joe Schmo, hi, by the way, Joe Schmo, says, isn't Face It Alone more of a theatrical version? I don't know. Joe Schmo is saying, yes, this song is a retrospect and validation of himself. I love that. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing to myself and to very kind of you. We appreciate all your support. Thank you so much. We will be accepting cards, presents, flowers. I'm joking, of course.
Offers of theatrical presentations. I've got another question for you now, Kelly.
All right, love. I'm ready.
Okay. So if this that we're doing now was so successful that it became like a film, who would play you?
Well, it's funny that you should ask that. My husband told me that he thinks that Helen Hunt and I resemble each other.
Oh.
I don't see it, but okay. And then I was told, when in my younger years, that I resembled an actress who played on the YNR. The pleasantly plump sister, which is lovely. So one of those two people would play me. I go for Helen Hunt. Who would play you?
Well, obviously, in looks, it would be Chris Hemsworth.
I love Chris Hemsworth.
But it's probably more likely to be Danny DeVito.
Is Chris is Chris going to bring his
Yes, he's going to bring all of it to it. Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Let us just think about that for a moment. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Moment, Chris Hemsworth, just right there.
I was talking about bringing if he was going to bring his hammer from Thor. That's what I think.
I think it always should go with him, regardless of what he's in. He should just have his Thor hammer, shouldn't he? Mm.
Well, it's really part of his outfit, don't you think? It's like part of the uniform.
Part of him. It's part of him, really. Yeah.
It's like Superman's cape. Really. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Moving on from Chris Hemsworth.
Well, see, no, I can't. You can't. I just can't out of that like that.
Can't you? I can.
I need a minute. No, we're just seventh inning stretch. Anna Banana says, Ritchie, what is the name of that beautiful color on your walls?
Well, I'm really sorry because the cameras and the lights, it's a terracotta. It's called burnt terracotta. I live in a very old Victorian converted flat from a big house. So you can see the marble fireplaces and the ceilings are massive. So I'm a person that couldn't just live in white and magnolia colors. So I picked a kind of burnt terracotta color because above this, there's lots of fancy ceilings and plasterwork, which is all picked out in white and things like that. So sorry, I'm just telling you the whole of my decorating plan there. But yeah, it's a kind of terracotta, but I've got different color lights on, so it looks probably a bit more orange on the camera.
Well, I'm loving your pumpkins on the mantle.
Thank you very much. I got into the Samhain season.
And I thought maybe you could take us on a tour of the flat, if you felt like it. I mean, not today. Another time.
I can do it. I'd have to tidy. You know what it's like? So, I mean, your room there is beautifully tidy. Okay, this is not tidy, and you should see what's piled up the other side of the camera.
Right.
I'll take you on a tour in about 2 years' time when I get around to cleaning it.
Wow, that's funny. Gerald says Googling Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, yeah. Take the adult filter off. You'll be okay.
All right. So Mary Thornberry says, Kelly, what about a read on Shakespeare? Did he know how, what an iconic status he would become after his death? That is an excellent question. I love it.
That's an amazing question. And I'm so pleased because I'm a huge Shakespeare fan.
No. You're not.
You never know, would you? Huge Shakespeare fan.
I love it. Joe Schmo says Hunter Green goes well with that color in your living room. Do you call that your what is that? Is that your parlor? Your receiving
lounge?
Lounge. It's a living room, friends.
It should be a front room. If it was a Victorian parlor.
Yes. It's the receiving room, right?
Yes, but
is it? Because isn't the receiving room is like the fancy room, right? The one that you're not allowed to sit in.
Reception room.
Oh, the reception room. Okay.
I have no idea. I don't know. But what I can tell you, and I promise you this, Kelly, you need to come on my channel just before Christmas when I get the Christmas tree up.
Oh, I love that.
You haven't seen the Christmas tree yet. No spoilers. Okay, no spoilers. But Ben from Ben Official Tarot officially turned me on with the lights last year. We had an official turn on, so that was quite fun.
Well, people are going to tune in just to see that, friends.
It'll be worth it.
It will be worth it. I love it. All right. Here we go. What about a read on Shakespeare? Shakespeare, no, he would be.
Oh.
Things that tarot readers should never say aloud.
Oh. Interesting. Okay.
Very.
Do you want to go first?
Yes, absolutely, love. Go ahead. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Geek.
Okay. I'll go then, shall I? Okay. So I pulled firstly the Two of Swords. This is from the Dark Mansion. I like nice big cards. And because we got the blindfold on here, I'm trying not to put my studental hat on that I know. I've read a lot about Shakespeare, so yeah. I think he an iconic status. Let me show you the cards that I've got. That's probably the best way of describing it. Perhaps we can unpick it that way. So I've got the Two of Swords, I've got the Emperor, and I've got the Three of Cups. So looking at this, I mean, the Three of Cups suggests a celebration, a get together. I think he was obviously very big at the time. He was very rich at the time because he could afford a huge house when he retired. So he was big at his time. We have the Emperor card, which would suggest to me he was at the top of his game and in control of it and knowing exactly what to do. Also interesting that we've got a lot of the history plays in there as well. So it's quite a nice tie-in with that one there. But the Two of Swords suggests that I don't think there was a sense of how far it was going to last into the future. Now, it's worth just remembering that in those days, the plays that were written weren't kept. They were performed, but they were written down. Just the person's parts were written down. So in a way, you only ever got to see the completed thing as a member of the audience when it all came together. So I think there's this blindfold going across that just no. And the Two of Swords here, it's almost like they're holding together. They're just holding the pens, holding his work together, but not actually knowing where they're going to go in any future. It's almost like this card is often referred to as being stalemate, of not going any further. So what I'm trying to say to you, and again, trying to keep my tarot head on rather than my Shakespeare student, is that yes, at the time he knew he was going to be big, but I don't think he ever thought it would translate into people knowing his name, household name, like it is, and all the words that would have gone into our everyday language. I think he would be shocked by how much we put him on a pedestal as well in many ways.
Yeah. Mary says he was born in 1616. Pretty amazing that people still find him for the first time every day and are hooked. Gerald says, I like that visual, Ritchie, and it's interesting. I did not get the same cards as you, but I have this like the same sort of story. I've got the Page of Swords, right? Constantly bringing in the stories, the words, the the scenes that he would capture in his mind or that he would visually actually see, and just storing all of that away, right? It was like he was a sponge.
A word, just putting stuff together. And
yeah. I've got the Queen of Swords. So to me, this is like the Emperor that you've got, right? This is, sitting high atop the perch, knowing that you are on top and trying to figure out the strategy, right? I think he was very strategic about the moves that he made. I mean, back in the day, they didn't have a publicist that could, pick up the phone and like arrange things. He had to do all that for himself, I'm pretty sure, at a certain point in time, which,
and you're absolutely right. You have to be very careful with the politics. It went from, in his lifetime, he was writing for Queen Elizabeth I, who loved him. And when she died, James I of England, who was pretty mad and didn't really like people that worked in the theatre. The Puritans were beginning to kick in. he went from one extreme to the other, and he had to change his game and his plans to fit in with what the theme was, what the day was as well, and what the royalty were after as well.
Yeah, so interesting. I mean, honestly, we could spend a whole hour just reading on him.
Yeah.
We have the star card last, right? This is his hope. This is his belief that, he's gonna make it, right?
Yeah.
That he hopes that it's going to be whatever it is in his mind. He thinks it should be or could be, right?
Yeah.
On the bottom of the deck, I've got the wheel, right? I mean, that's legacy right there, right? What I find interesting, I put this card, and it's
complicated. Right. It's interesting when you pulled the wheel card. I thought about a million lines that he wrote about fortune, and Romeo and Juliet. They called it "I Won Fortune's Fall" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And how the Elizabethans believed in the wheel of fortune and all of that going on it.
Isn't that super interesting? That was a great question, Mary. Thank you so much for asking that.
Thank you for that. I enjoyed that one.
So we are already at an hour.
No, that's gone quick.
Well,
let's do more. Let's keep going.
If
people will have us.
Okay, so I have a question. Unless you have a question, do you have a question or something that you would like us to?
No, I was going to suggest Shakespeare actually, so that's quite good.
So Lisa Rhodes asked this question here. Did Mark Bolan have a premonition of his death? And then I have a question.
Okay.
Because I'm a funny sort. I think he did.
Go for it.
Sorry. It's like
no,
I should say that out loud. Sorry.
There you go. End off.
I forget I'm on camera sometimes. What can I tell you? I got the 4 cups.
Ah. Interesting.
Feeling stuck and unsure and bored and like nothing's doing it for me anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel fulfilled. And on the bottom of the deck, I got the Hierophant.
Oh. Nice. I got Ace of Swords. And then I got the Queen of Swords. So again, I think there was this flash of intuition, this flash of something.
There was some kind of knowing that was behind
there's like a clarity, there's a like, or perhaps seeking clarity. Perhaps this premonition happened, but perhaps he had to work with other people to interpret, to go with it. But I think there was certainly a seed of something developing there.
Yeah. Lisa says he was terrified of driving and of a car crash specifically, and he died in a car crash. So,
yeah,
that's interesting. Joe Smith says I was heartbroken when Janis Joplin died, and Amanda says that Oscar Wilde would be fun too. You know who would? Oh, I just thought of someone who I want to read on.
Go on then.
John Rickman.
Oh. You want to do that? In what capacity? Just
the same as I almost hit the end broadcast button. Would that not have been tragic, friends? I got very excited there. I just want to know, like about the same thing that we were asking about other people. What is this like? Hi, honey. It's my husband popped in the chat.
Hi.
Honey, my cousin from England, Ritchie. I'm kidding.
Hi, we're related.
Hi, honey. All right. John Rickman. I mean, it made me think of it because we were talking about, Sense and Sensibility. An amazing
Alan Rickman.
And just like he was so well versed, so talented, and he had like
I'm confused now. Do you mean Alan Rickman?
Oh, Alan Rickman. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry. I apologize.
No, I get John. I was like, I know that, and I was thinking, is it John? I think his own middle name might have been John. Alan Rickman. Yeah. How long ago did Alan Rickman pass?
It was a bit ago. I don't know that it was.
Was it the year that sadly a lot of everyone passed? Yeah, about that time, wasn't it?
A couple of years ago, I think. You know how one moment blends into the next. I actually have.
I know. I just remember that year was just. There must have been 40 or 45 celebrities who I love that just died in that year. It was the year Carrie Fisher went.
Yes, 2016.
Yeah. Was it Prince went as well at that time? I think it was that year as well.
Aww.
Yeah, 2016.
Hi, Sunflower Down Under.
Hi.
To us from Australia. Gerald says 2016.
6 years ago, really?
Doesn't seem that long ago, does it? But like I said, one thing. Oh, yay! Woohoo! Thank you, everybody.
You're up to 500.
Woohoo! Thanks, Spirit. It's Friday. Oh. I feel like he was a lovely person. And I don't know why I feel that, but I do. He was just like a really nice guy. What you got, my friend? Are you ready? Or hi, Pierre.
I am. I'm just thinking about these ones. Oh. I'm going to pull something. I'll pull another one for clarification.
Friends he's contemplating.
Okay, does that make sense? I don't know if it helps or not, or just confuse the matter. We're going to go for it. Shall I go first?
Yes, of course, love.
Well, I got first the Page of Pentacles, which I know it's very studious. I know he was very hardworking. So when he took on roles, he was one of those actors that would fully encompass the role. And the Page of Pentacles again would suggest that he was a person who would research and get to the fine points. He wouldn't just turn up on set one day and just do it. He knew the backstory and everything that goes along with it. And I think that's really important. A lot of actors talk about that, as to knowing is to put the work in before you even start learning the lines, right, and like that. And then I pulled the Tower. So actually I'm wondering, because the disaster or the moment that he passed was a big shock. And it was a shock for me because he's obviously iconic and in the role of Snape. And I'm wondering whether that would have translated across to those people that liked the Harry Potter films and growing up with the Harry Potter films. You know, like when somebody dies and you kind of come to terms with the fact that we are all mortal. What I'm trying to say is fans of his character, that would have possibly been the first time that a character or an actor from a Harry Potter film passed over. Right. And that has quite a big effect on a child when that happens. I don't know if you can recall when you realised that we weren't going to be here forever, and that your favourite person died or something, or whatever it is. That's what I'm trying to say, probably quite badly. Basil, the cat's just jumped up to join us. Hi, Baz. You're sitting on my other side. Hi, Baz. Can you get? Thank you very much. Okay. And I've also got the Ace of Cups. So I also think there's a lot of love in this. So it's quite a mixed reading. And that's why I'm little bit confused. But I think the legacy, perhaps, of Alan Rickman is the fact that it was such a shock when he went, and I
Right.
think that might have made people sit up and question what their life purpose was. But I also think there was an awful lot of love involved with him as a person. And personally, I think he's always going to be that kind of Snape-like. We've all got Snape in our heads. Was it Snape? It was Snape, wasn't it? Yeah. That kind of darkness there.
Yeah.
He was a very lovable person,
Yeah, I don't think he was anything like the characters that he most often played.
We often think of him like that, and he's in our memory as that, but we have to remember that was just one character that he played.
Exactly.
I hope that makes a bit of sense. I'm a little bit about this one.
Well, I hope that I can help, because I kind of have that similar. Sometimes you get those roller coaster kind of readings, right? That's when it helps to have a little bit of knowledge about when you're doing these types of readings about a person. It's not like having someone in the chat who can sort of go, yes, you're on the right track.
Yeah.
I've got the King of Swords. I mean, that's him sitting high atop his perch, right? Plotting and scheming, not in a negative way. Like which thing is he going to do? Which script? Which play? Which movie? Standing in his truth, because I don't think that he was the type of actor that actually was like, well, I'm going to take this role, even though it's less acting but more money. I don't really think he was motivated by that. He was motivated for the right reasons, and I think that was. That was why he did what he did, right? Bye, honey. See you in a bit. Honey, can you bring dinner home? Love you.
Me too, please. That's nice.
Please and thank you. To celebrate the 500 subscribers. Wow.
Yeah.
Next to that, I've got the Queen of Pentacles. This is the person that has it all, right? In other people's opinion, has it all, right? The person that the community goes to, the one that everyone looks up to, the one that has their hands in all the cookie jars, but literally can handle doing that, right? Yeah. The person that is the confidant and the healer and the hardworking parent and the teacher, all and just it's just another day, like no sweat kind of idea. When you hear of the other people that have talked about him and the way that he was and the way that he handled himself, I think that describes him, the Queen of Pentacles kind of energy. I think that to me, that describes him. And then I've got Temperance on the bottom of the deck. Yeah. He's constantly trying to challenge himself, I think. I think he was constantly trying to challenge the other people that he worked with. Like, I feel like he was very much the kind of energy that would be like, okay, Ritchie, listen, this is what we're going to do. And if I do this, then you can do it. Like, he was trying to sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, inflate you. No, it wasn't about him, but like use him to inflate you. And I think that gave him quite a rush, right?
Yeah. I get that.
I got teacher. Learning
it's quite an Alan Rickman kind of picture, really, isn't it?
Yeah, learning a new path. And I think that this is interesting because I don't know any of his backstory, so I don't know if acting was always his love, or I do know that he did a lot of theater, and I think theater was his actual love. Movies and stuff, maybe not so much, because it wasn't at all the same, obviously. And so I wonder if maybe he felt like he had to sacrifice something.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe that's why the temperance and also kind of, trying to be strategic and looking for the truth, communicating how he feels. I don't know. There's just something there. Let's pull another card. Just see.
Yeah.
See. What else? Tell me. Cycles I got.
Cycles.
Yeah.
It's a nice card.
So maybe he went and, do like dabble a little bit here, and then I have to appease the fans, the people, the managers, the bank account, the whatevers, and then do a little over here. I don't think he really loved that, though. I don't think he was in it.
He was quite what's the word? Not a secretive person, but you never found out very much about him. He would do films, he did things like Truly Madly Deeply and all those wonderful films that he was in.
You know what's interesting to me, talking about him, is he reminds me of like a Maggie Smith or a Dame Judi Dench, because I mean, we think that they are like the bomb.com. I mean, we know who they are, and they, they're making, I mean, they're just doing their thing. They're going to Target and they're going to the pub or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, to them, it's not, it's just, this is their job. To us, they're like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that they think that they are as famous as we think they are. Or
no, and I also think that they have a sparkle about them, talking about particularly those, and I know Judi Dench does. I know that Judi Dench
totally gave me the chills. So
interesting.
That just totally gave me the chills. That freaked me out.
Oh, we have to read that now.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what Ritchie and I will be doing tonight. Like, That's super interesting. Sorry. Thank you, Gerald, for sharing that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Wow.
Rich, you'll have to come back. We'll do a whole episode on.
Do a whole one on Judi Dench. We could do a whole Judi Dench. Dames of the theatre. We could. Angela Lansbury. We could have done as well. Oh, don't! I'm really. I mean, bless her. She was very old, and I knew she had to go at some point.
Yeah.
But
beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
So talented.
Yeah.
So talented.
And that's what we have to remember. And I don't get sad about it, but she was one of my big icons. I loved Angela Lansbury for all the different roles that she did. She always mastered them brilliantly for me.
I loved, as a female, I loved that even though she'd been, acting in many different varieties and on stage and theater and stuff from a very young age, that she broke out when she was like in her 50s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go get him. And a time when most females couldn't be the star of their own show. And there's just something very inspiring and encouraging about that, right? Yeah. That if you plug away, it can happen. It doesn't matter whether you're, a man or a woman in that business. It's like, if you really work hard and put in the effort, anything can happen.
And I have a massive belief in it being successful. I think that's the other thing. I mean, on paper, Murder, She Wrote shouldn't have run for as long as it did and been the success it should. But she particularly made that work, didn't she?
She did. I love that. My friend, this has been so enjoyable. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm loving it. It's sad it's got to finish.
So, well, we must let you get on with the evening because it's.
Yeah, you can do one more. You can do one more if you want to. I don't mind.
Well, do you want to do Angela Lansbury?
I would like to do one more, and I'd like to do one I think Gerald mentioned at the beginning, which is Alan Turing.
I don't know where it is, so I'll just
way back, but he wanted to talk about Alan Turing or do a reading for Alan Turing. So
I won't be able to find it. Gerald, retype that in the chat, love, if you're still here, and then I'll stick it up. Let's do that.
Should we do that one?
Yes, absolutely. You're the guest. It's your choice, my dear.
Thank you very much, because I think that is a really interesting. He was very interesting. Very mixed up, very sadly maligned person. I'll be interested to see how much his legacy has changed.
Yeah. Seascape just said, "You're so gracious, Ritchie. I like you."
Thank you.
He's the best guest in the whole world. I like it.
Oh, I love it.
And now I'm going to get an email from Gerald saying, "You're better than me." No.
Yeah.
Don't make me choose. All right, so here's what we're doing. Alan Turing. That's how you say it, Turing?
Alan Turing, yeah.
Bye, Ron. Ron has a show on in about half an hour, I believe, with Sun Psychic Jean and Terry Kigaru's Spiritual Journey. I believe that starts at 5 p.m. Eastern if anyone's looking for something to do after this. Go ahead, my friend. Sorry.
Okay, so this is really interesting because I got the Ten of Wands for the first card on that one. The slog. I mean, I think of Alan Turing, and one of the words is just hard work and slog. I mean, he was apparently a very difficult person to work with when he was cracking his codes and doing all of that stuff. Because of his different medical needs, he was on lots of spectrums and people found it quite difficult to work with him on it. But he was certainly one of those people that would never, ever give up, and his work would pile on top of him, much like this pile of sticks and wands would have done. But also that was beginning to weigh him down, and that is what, led him into other things. So I wonder as well whether that is just the pressure of being gay at a time, and what happened to him when he was he had to go through chemical. They tried to put him in for chemical castration when he was caught with another man, and the weight of that finally killed him off. However, I also pulled the Sun card, so actually I'm now thinking perhaps that's a message that everything is fine now in the next level, in the next space. He found his soulmate, I'd like to think, and that the sun is shining on him. And also that forgiveness, because he was pardoned by the Queen a few years ago. We even have Alan Turing on one of our banknotes now. And I mean, just think of what that has done in the last 60 years. He's gone from being a hero to villainized, to being recognized, to being pardoned, and now to be an incredible torch, particularly for the LGBTQI plus community. And I think it's a fascinating journey, a hard journey, but we have almost a completion.
Yep. What's really interesting is that we've done what we've been doing prior to this, and sort of not pulling the same cards, but getting a similar type of a message. No dramatic pause intended, but I'm still shuffling. Thanks, Gina. Appreciate you. We start out with the Four of Wands. Your community, celebration, happiness, joy, family.
Yeah.
I don't think that he was always hi, Quincy. It's my cat, Quincy. I don't think that he was always unhappy. I don't think that he was always feeling, sort of like that he didn't belong or he didn't fit in.
Yeah.
And I think that he wished that he did. Yes. I've got the Five of Swords.
Oh, yeah.
That hamster wheel really messed with him, right? That picture pretty much says it all.
Yeah, he does. He couldn't sum it up
better. And then we have the Judgment card.
Wow.
Which is like your son, right?
Yeah.
This is the moment. This is the the new perspective, the self-realization, and the new understanding, the new perspective. Which is, I mean, it's wonderful that he arrived at that spot, right? Mm-hmm. And on the bottom of the deck, I've got the Two of Wands. I don't know how to say this without, because my words aren't going to. I already know that my words aren't going to articulate what my thought is, the way that I'm thinking it. So I hope that this comes out right. I feel like this is him, and that for all of the planning and all of the dreams and all of the, trying to figure out the direction and the route and the map and the thing that we all do, what the journey is, that he was constantly getting in his own way.
Yeah.
And that getting in his own way is the thing that he couldn't get past. Not that the journey wasn't fun, not that he didn't enjoy, not that he didn't learn, not that he wasn't loving life in the good moments. I think it was because he could not figure out how to get out of his own way. Like, when you just keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over again, and you're like, why does this keep happening to me? 2 steps forward, 4 backwards kind of idea.
Yeah.
That really was a problem for him.
Yeah.
And the last card that I pulled was obedience. And I feel like he might have felt like he had to do, like you were saying about the time, felt like he had to do what was expected of him and not what he wanted. And every single person in this chat and anyone who's listening at home, eventually in the future, we've all been in that moment where we've had to do something that we knew wasn't right for us, but because we didn't want to upset someone else, we didn't want to hurt someone else's feelings, we didn't want to cause a scene or cause drama or whatever the case may be. We've all done that. And we all know how we felt when we were doing it or after we did it.
Yeah.
Having the best intentions is wonderful, but speaking your truth in a respectful way to someone that has upset you or ruffled your feathers or caused you to step away from your own self is so powerful.
Yeah.
As long as it's done in a nice, respectful way. So always remember to stand in your truth, my friends.
That's nice.
Okay. When do you want to come back? We will discuss.
We'll discuss, but soon.
Excellent. I love it.
Let's try and do one end of November, December time.
Done.
You could come on my channel if you wanted to. He's knocking his tea down. It's fine.
He's getting excited and throwing his drink down. Woohoo!
My cat is hassling me here. He's trying to drink the tea and drink the water, and I'm like, you can't have those. So, yeah. Yeah, you can come on mine, or I can come on yours. I'm loving it. I like being on yours because I don't have to be doing all the chat. I can just
you don't have to do anything. You just sit there and drink your tea and look lovely. Talk to your cat. Friends, thank you everyone for being here. Ritchie, do you have something that's coming up that you would like to tell everybody about, where you're going to be next, or
I am back on my channel next Friday at 7 p.m. British Summer Time. Hang on, let me just British Summer Time is quite soon. No, not next Friday. I think it's the weekend after. So I'm an hour just before you, Kelly, so people can tune in, watch me, Ben, and Orshi do something Halloween-y. I think we're going to talk spooky stuff. Yeah, that's next Friday. I'm on holiday for a week, so I'm just going to go off and do lovely things, really.
I love it. So thank you, Gina, for putting Ritchie's link in the description box. If you're not already subscribed to Ritchie, please do go check him out. He's absolutely lovely. And I must say, he talks about the most interesting things on his channel. And he has one of those voices. I'm talking about you as if you're not even here.
That's fine.
But you have one of those lovely voices that I'm not speaking for everyone, but I sort of am. I feel like I could just listen to you forever. So.
Oh, that's good because I can talk forever.
Awesome. My friends, this has been so much fun. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Coming up 4 dozen cats on Sunday. On Sunday? Is that when I'm on next? I think so. I just put a commercial out on the channel. Everyone go check it out. That'll tell you what's going on. But I believe this Sunday, I have Terry Suzuki coming on. Was supposed to be Sun Psychic Jean, but she had to cancel. And so now Terry Kigaru Spiritual Journeys is joining for some mediumship and card readings. And then on Monday, I will be on Illumination Portal. Then I'll be on with Ali at Heart and Soul Connected. And then Tuesday is Circle of Friends, and Wednesday I'll be back at 9 p.m. Eastern with Anna Banana and Cartomancy Mesquite. We're doing Halloween readings. And I don't know what else, but check the commercial on the channel. That's a lot. Thanks everyone for all of the kind well wishes for reaching 500 subscribers. This wouldn't work without you, and I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate all of your support. You are the best. Thank you so much. I wish you many blessings. Mwah! Bye, everybody.